Welcome to the Spectrum Connection, a podcast hosted by Jess
and Alyces. As two mums of neurodivergent kids, we are here to share our experiences, insights, and advice with other parents navigating this unique journey.
Join us as we discuss everything from daily challenges to breakthrough moments, all with a focus on understanding and celebrating neurodivergence. Before we dive into today's episode, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Starfish Store Australia.
If you're looking for a retail store that's more than just a place to shop, look no further. Starfish Store Australia is where high quality meets heart. With years of expertise in special needs, disabilities, and trauma-based practice, they're dedicated to helping you and your loved ones live your best life.
But it's not just about the products, it's about the passion behind them. Starfish Store Australia is driven by the desire to make a difference, to enhance lives, and to help everyone thrive. So whether you're looking for practical solutions or something special, you'll find it at Starfish Store Australia.
Visit them online or at their store to experience the difference, because living your best life starts with the right support, and Starfish Store Australia is here to provide just that. We will leave a link to their shop in our show notes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to season 2. I'm leading because I promised Jess I would. I have no idea how to lead either, so...
I needed you too. I feel very awkward listening back to myself from season 1 and thinking, oh, I'm so awkward in intros and outros. You're on them this season.
Yeah, I can be awkward for you. It's fine. So episode 1, season 2. It's been a while between seasons because of life, so we thought that we would start this episode with a life update. Yes,
it's exciting. Yeah, so getting back into it.
It is exciting, yeah. And I think authenticity, I think I need to let everyone know that I'm actually recording from my car right now. I think we just be real. The only way this is been able to happen is literally I'm in my car and it's working, and so we're just going to go with that.
But no one can tell because of this beautiful
no one can tell. If I didn't say anything, no one would know. But
yeah,
overshare over here.
I think it's important. I think, we're mums. We try to have to be flexible with what we do and how we do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of times where I've wanted some alone time and I've gone to my car to sit there and just escape for a bit.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. I think whenever I speak to people that I mentioned that I do a podcast, they're like, how do you do a podcast when you're homeschooling and you've got 4 kids? And this is how I do it. I have someone watch the kids inside while I sit in the car. It's not glamorous.
Yeah. And I was going to mention that when I went to the Autism Expo last weekend, 2 weekends ago, I had quite a few people come up to me and talk about the podcast. And I was like, oh, I wish Alyces was here. She could hear these comments, because they were just saying how much they loved them and how accessible they were. I think they were saying we could just pop it on through our headphones or pop it on in the car when you're driving. I think we can get so busy in our lives, therapy appointments, school, everything like that. I think we need to be as accessible as possible. And yeah. So it was really, really nice to hear that positive feedback from you all.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So we were thought this first episode we'd give a bit of life update. I have a pretty significant one that may change.
Yeah, we need to lead with yours because yours is more exciting.
No, they're both exciting. Are you kidding me?
I want to talk about yours.
So I think it was about a month and a half, I was diagnosed autistic, and I also was diagnosed with ADHD. So huge kind of moment.
I feel like I need to, when I'm editing, I'm going to try and find a sound effect. We need not a too loud one though. Maybe we don't want some streamer sound. What are they? That's sensory overload for some people.
Yeah, in their ears especially.
Yeah. Just insert celebration sound here. There we go.
Yay. Work. I thought that was really cool. Alyces was one of the first people that I told. I first went to my internet friends. especially those that were neurodivergent themselves, because I just felt like I needed that response first. I was very hesitant to tell people in my physical life, I guess, but it was really cool to see everyone's responses be so positive and so welcoming. So it was really cool. But yeah, I got that diagnosis. It's been probably a couple years in the making. I think I spoke to you about this first, Alyce, actually, when we first did that live ages ago. Can't even remember when it was.
Yeah.
I was talking to you and you had just gone through your diagnosis. And I remember thinking, like, should I bring this up? Should I tell her that I'm thinking that I might be? And I just felt safe to tell you. And you were like, I think you said something along the lines of neurotypical people don't overanalyze if they are autistic or not.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. I don't think they question, like, I could be wrong, because but like, I don't think neurotypical people are like, oh, I wonder if I'm autistic. No, just,
yeah, and like
it's
spend
so
countless
funny.
hours researching and yeah, I think. And then when
Yeah.
I realized that I've built a whole social media platform on autism and, started working in social work, autism, and just built my life around it, I was like, oh, hey, that's a special interest that I didn't realize was a special interest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my reaction, like, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think part of my reaction to you was like, I already knew this. This
I
isn't new
think you
news to me.
did.
Might be yeah,
Yeah.
it might be it might be new news for you, but for me, I'm like, I already knew because I don't have like, you know, friendships and conversations like this with people who are neurotypical.
Yeah.
Just doesn't happen for me. So yeah,
It was
it's like
interesting,
a
like
indicator.
sort of I use the words coming out, but it's like it's a weird term to use, I think. I don't know. Just telling the world, I guess. But I think it was interesting how many people have reached out to me afterwards saying, I also think I'm autistic or I also think I'm neurodivergent. And thank you for sharing about that because now I'm going to book my assessment in. I was like, I would say there's almost 40 to 50 people who have said that message to me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all these diagnosticians are going to be overloaded.
Yeah, as if wait lists aren't long enough.
I think it was cool. I think we all need that push. And I think talking to you was that push for me. And I think, and
Yeah.
I hope that anyone who's listening to this can always reach out to us or, just listen to us and get that push from this podcast. So, yeah, that's my pretty big update.
Exciting.
What's been
That's
going
so
on in your
exciting. It's like
life?
a weird, yeah.
Yeah, it is weird to say
Oh,
exciting.
it
But
is. Yeah, kind of like I think unless you go through it, you don't really know. Like, and that's what I was just going to add to that. Like, if people think that they're neurodivergent, think that they're autistic, whatever, like that self-diagnosis is completely valid. Like, no one has to go down the diagnostic path if you don't want to. But for me, anyway, and I think it's the same for you, Jess. It's just like you need that outside perspective
yeah.
to make sure like it's not just all in your head. I don't know, that validation. And I technically kind of went for like two diagnosis, really. I've done it twice just to
Yeah.
make sure.
I think
Even though I had no
as
doubt in my mind, it was just like, I don't know, that validation.
yeah, I think as chronic overthinkers, which we tend to be, neurodivergent people tend to be, not always, but we're
Yeah.
overthinkers. And we always go, hold on, is what I'm thinking right? And there's always, history of doctors gaslighting us. And
Yeah.
I think all of that together just makes the imposter syndrome come to the forefront and go, hey, I don't think you are. You need to get this, a professional to
Yeah. Seek that external validation. And I think that's
yes.
what we always do, seek external validation. So I'm trying to like work through as an adult is like not to worry about other people. It's so damn hard. I don't know if I'll ever master that
It
in my
is
lifetime.
hard.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's an automatic response and if we want to put the work in to change that, it's uncomfortable. So
It is.
it's
Yeah.
hard. So
Yeah. That's a
what's
whole
been
lot.
going on in your life?
Yeah, so I'm done uni. I've graduated. I'm a registered
Woohoo!
developmental educator now. Took no time in like putting all that paperwork in and yeah, done that. And it's such a weird period for me now that's all over. It's just that transition, the transition. Like I knew it was coming. I was prepared for it. I was like wanting it to be over. And then it's over and I'm like, yeah, now what? There's like a lot of stuff to work through. It's really weird. And yeah, we've just finished our first year of homeschooling officially, and we went through the review period. We had the lady come out to our house, and that was a bit nerve-wracking because I wasn't sure what to expect. But it all went really well, and we've locked in another 2 years registration. So I don't have to go through that for another 2 years. And obviously what I was doing, or what we've been doing, is the right thing. So it feels like I don't know, it feels very formal now. Like I know we've been doing it for a year, but it was kind of like the first year is like your trial, like you kind of not sure if you're doing it right. And now it's like, okay, what we've been doing is fine and we can continue
Going
doing
back to
that. So
that external validation.
yes, yes, yeah. And the thing with homeschooling, like I'm in New South Wales, so it's so it's very left up to interpretation. Like there is no wrong or right way, really. There's no, you have to do it this way. So that makes it hard when you're so used to learning looking a certain way and you're thinking that you have to do it, have to do the textbooks and have to do all that kind of stuff. So when you're kind of making it up, you don't have that set structure and rule to follow. As an autistic is really beneficial. You don't have that. You got to make it up yourself. Um,
Yeah, and
so
having like someone come in and be like, this is right or wrong. If it's so flexible, how am I meant to make this right? You know?
yes. Yeah. And I think it's down to the person that you get to. I've heard like online, there's been some horror stories from some people. We were very fortunate that our AP is absolutely amazing and I felt really comfortable with her. So maybe that was just that experience for me because of her. I don't know. But yeah, so we've got 3 official homeschoolers now. And Elijah, like, so he's 5 going on 6, and that day I'm like, oh, we've registered you now. And in the afternoon he come to me and said, oh mum, I can't believe I'm an official homeschooler.
Aw.
So cute. I'm like, this is like his first day of kindergarten today.
Did
So
you take a
cute.
photo?
No,
Mark the
no, I didn't
occasion.
actually. Should have.
No, going back to
Yeah,
societal expectations. Don't worry about that.
yeah, yeah.
That's really exciting. And I know how much that would have just been on your mind for a while is how is this person going to receive us and how is it,
Yeah.
I
And
think,
in true me fashion, like I probably went way overboard with our next year's plan and our reporting and our like, because I had like an 11-page plan for each kid,
oh,
all like color
wow.
coded and yeah, more for myself, I think, because I just like to make sure that I can flick through it throughout the year or 2 years now and kind of like mark it off as we go, like because we just do the whole self-directed learning and it's like very casual. That's amazing how literally in a year of them just doing their thing, following their own interests, how many sections of the curriculum they like achieved. Like I could go through and go, yeah, we did that without me pushing it.
Yeah.
So yes, now I have the documents all ready to go. So then hopefully when we come up to review period, is literally like highlighting, here you go, this is what we've done, instead of like having to restructure everything.
Yeah.
Um,
That's cool. And I think a lot of people listening would really, I'm hearing story after story of people homeschooling their kids, especially if they're neurodivergent. The horrible stories I'm hearing about schooling,
mhm.
it's becoming more common. And I think it's cool that you're speaking out about it. Your posts, your stories, they're really insightful. And I think it goes along with what you were feeling in that first year is like, am I doing it right? Am I, and I think that you kind of just normalize it for other people. It's just like self-directed and, you know, as long as they're learning and it's going towards the curriculum, you know, you're doing well. It's also in amongst everything else that we have to do as parents. So you're doing a great.
Yes. Thanks.
And you're graduated. That's huge.
I know, it's so weird. so weird. I'm like looking at my calendar now with like no due dates on it. And I'm like, I need to put something in
Yeah.
place for myself. It's just so random. It's just like floating in the wind, no structure on what to do next.
Due date. Have a coffee. I was watching someone's video the other day and they were like, I really struggle with my to-do lists. Like, I really struggle with starting them. And she said, now I write to-do lists where I put have a coffee, have a shower, and things like that. So that she's like, oh, when I've gotten up, had a coffee, had a shower, I've already marked 2 things off my to-do list. It just helps me
Yeah,
to keep going. I'm like, huh,
yeah, yeah.
that's interesting. That sort of strategy to help you boost
Yeah, that
motivation.
task initiation. If you put the first task you do, something that you just automatically do without thinking about it,
Yeah,
which is the coffee, I think, for most of us.
most of us.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it without coffee.
No, me either.
So, oh, I also had an update. I am have already started to help sort of create a foundation, which is hopefully going to be turned into a charity. And
Yeah, I'm just thinking back now. This is like you alluded to this last season, and it's
yeah,
taken us this long now to get to season two. You've already like it's already running. It's already amazing. Like we were
yeah,
just starting before you like, yeah,
I do just
that's really
remember that. And you were like, and I was like, I'll tell you after we record, like what it is.
oh, time goes so
So
fast.
yeah, it's going really well. It's kind of like everything I've ever wanted to do. So it kind of just fell into my lap really. And I was like, yes, 100% I want to be on board with this. So basically the CID Foundation has many initiatives, and one of those initiatives is the Autism Initiative. And basically, we want to support parents and carers of autistic children. There's a gap. There's no real support there. And I think with our Instagram accounts, like both you and I have created that online, but I think having like a tangible foundation where people can go to and connect with other parents. And yeah, we've been organizing some meetups and it's just really cool to see. And the feedback we've gotten is so great to see that connection is so important for parents and carers. So yeah, it's been really fun and right down my alley. So you might hear more about it as we go on in the podcast.
So good.
Yeah. What's in store for season 2? That's what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're really looking at season one and how it kind of, we had a I don't even think we really had a plan in mind when we started, but we kind of had like this will be for parents of neurodivergent kids. But as it's gone on, I think we've had people contacting us that are educators and other professionals that work with neurodivergent children and, that whole, what would they say, neuro curious? I have to I always have to pause myself because when I read neuro curious, my brain goes straight to neuro circus. Like, no,
Well, it kind of is.
I'm like, I think I've coined a new term. I'm going to claim that. If anyone wants to use it, I said it first.
Trademarked.
Yeah. Yeah. So people just questioning their own neurodivergent identity and wanting us to speak more about that. And I think it all ties in together. And so we kind of just reflected on that and thought, well, why don't we just do bits of everything so that it caters for that wider audience that is asking for us to cover topics,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of relate to them.
I think when we talked about this is like I do have an influx of people telling me I feel like I might be neurodivergent, and it all goes back to the genetics of it all. And
Yeah.
we're finding that it's, people are discovering their neurodivergence more commonly nowadays if they have a neurodivergent child. And we were like, should we just gear season 2 down like the adult neurodivergent parent route? And then we came back to no, hold on. We do already have, I think you said this, Alyces, we do already have an audience who may not be neurodivergent. So let's do a mix of both. Let's keep down sort of the parenting route, parenting neurodivergent kids, as well as little bits and pieces of finding out that you're neurodivergent yourself after your child is diagnosed. Very common story.
Yep. I've always thought to sharing, experiences and stories like your own personal with your own personal journey. I think that helps parents too, because even if they don't feel like they're neurodivergent, to help them with their children. I think because, kids grow up to be adults and how that looks at perspective, I think. And I think that's where, in this community that's online at the moment with a lot of neurodivergent people feeling comfortable to talk about their experiences, that's where all the knowledge is coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good conversation to have as well for
Yeah.
parents.
I'm not like discounting professionals in this statement, but I'm just saying that I feel like the most valuable knowledge I've ever learnt about autism, neurodivergence, about my child has come from talking to autistic adults and listening to them on social media. And I've learnt so much through other avenues as well. But I feel like it's an important part and can really help you to truly understand your child if you listen to someone who, may not be going through the same thing, but very similar things. So yeah, we're gonna do that for season 2, and hopefully everyone's on board with it.
I think it will be fine. We're not excluding anybody. We're not like scrapping and going back to the start. We're just adding. So I think people will appreciate that. And I guess to put it out when we're asking for questions, like now we've broadened this kind of scope. It doesn't have to be just about families, just the whole neurodivergent space in general. I think
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that we started in season 1 doing sort of like a self-care prompt, but I thought that we could do that maybe at the end of the episodes now. I got this quote and I thought I'd share it, saying, "It's not lazy if you're taking time to recharge. It's called self-care and it's essential."
Yeah.
I
I
thought it
like
was
that.
really important because I think I tell myself all the time if I'm sitting down, I'm like, "Oh, you're so lazy, you're not doing anything." But then I'm like, "Hold on, this is productive. It's going to recharge me."
Yeah.
So if you guys needed to hear
Yeah.
that, there you
Yeah.
go.
And I think that I've been thinking more and more about this self-care concept on how it's so much a mindset, like how you look at things. Yeah. So we'll keep we'll keep coming up every episode with self-care still, but with some suggestions I think might be more
Yeah.
beneficial for people. Yeah.
I think more of an understanding of it is more beneficial than me sitting here going, "Go grab a coffee," because it's not always possible to do that.
Possibly. Yes. Yeah.
We might also be demand avoidant and not do something because someone told us to do it. So
Great, Jess. Now there's all these people out there that can't have a coffee because you told them to have one. No.
it's true. If someone tells me to relax, I'm not relaxing.
Like,
So
don't
maybe
tell me what to
quotes.
do. I'll relax in my own time.
Come up with your own self-care. I feel like that's important too. What suits
Yeah.
you?
And what it looks like for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think
Yeah. Let's awkwardly wrap this up because I think that's all we needed to say for this episode.
I'm glad you did it. I'm not going to be able to get it. Thank you guys, though. We will keep all our links in the show notes and the
Yeah.
links to our sponsor as well. So, yeah, I hope that you're all excited for a season 2.
We're excited. Share it with your friends. Tell other people about us, please. Share it.